Good morning, good afternoon, sorry, Samee people, and welcome to another edition of Samee with Session. We'll just let people just log in while they start to come on and join us there, and we'll see them shortly. So just coming into you this week, we're talking around self-development, personal development. We've got Paul joining us on the call, which I'll introduce you to in a moment. So it's good to have everyone here. Good to see some people start coming in. Say good morning, say hi in the comments. We've got Lorraine is saying morning all. Lorraine's on with us. There'll be a couple of others that are coming in as well, so we know there's a few others that are joining us as we go. Michael Ballard is saying morning all, afternoon all, even. It's afternoon. It's definitely afternoon. Gareth says hi. Gareth's on as well. So there's a few people starting to kick in now. So good morning and welcome. This is another edition of Samee with Sessions, and we're joined by Paul. Thank you for joining us today, Paul. And I'll let Paul introduce himself in a moment, but we're going to be talking a little bit about self and personal development and the impact it's had. So without further ado, Paul, I'm going to hand over to you. Do you want to introduce yourself to the viewers and to everyone on this afternoon?
Hi, I'm Paul. Thank you for having me on, Ricky. So me, I am a single dad of three. I am a community support worker for a company called Autism Wessex. I look after autistic adults, and I do that full time. I do enjoy that, but I've also got a Facebook group which takes up a lot more of my time as well. It's basically a support network. And yeah, other than that, I'm on a journey of self-development and loving every second of it.
Wonderful, thank you. We've got Sam and Wayne in the background. They're taking messages and questions for people that can't comment on today. Tina's saying hello as well. We've got Becky is on saying afternoon. We've got Gareth saying Bev is also on as well, and we're hoping that Bev's going to come and join us in a couple of weeks' time to talk about something different. So I'll save that for talking a little bit later about that one. So if you are unable to comment and ask questions and leave your thoughts in the actual comments itself, you can also send them through to sam@samee.co.uk, and they will also, the team behind me will pop the questions and the comments in the banner for us. So we've also got Paul, like he said, he's got his Facebook group, Support Network and Friends. So if you go onto Facebook, you can find that and find out a little bit more what that's about. So thank you for introducing yourself, Paul, and I think let's go straight into this. So as you mentioned, you've started this journey of personal development and self-development, and you've started working on yourself. What made you start this?
16 years in the care industry, to be fair. No, I reached a point in my life where I knew that there was more for me than what I was currently doing. I was plodding along. I was never really getting anywhere and just constantly going through the same motions every day. So there came a time where I was starting to get an itch that I needed to do something different. And then I was introduced to a comeback challenge on Facebook, by yourself, obviously. And I thought, why not? What have I got to lose? So I did the comeback challenge, and that kind of kick-started me off in the direction that I wanted to go, which I'm now going. Hello? So I think Ricky's frozen. Oh, he's come back. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It dropped out for some reason. So we've not had that one before, so that's a new one to us. we are still back here. Jackie's on as well. So sorry, do carry on, Paul. You were talking about why you started.
So yeah, I needed to go in a different direction from, instead of plodding along. Like I say, I've got an itch that I needed to do something different, and at the time that I got the itch, big believer in the universe handing us opportunities. You came along and said to me about doing the comeback challenge, which made me realise that there was more to life than what I was currently doing. So it was a mixture of long time in the care world and you coming along at the right time and mentioning something which kind of started me off on my journey.
Excellent. Yeah. And Lorraine is saying, you're doing great, Paul. You kept calm and carried on. And Michael's singing, let it go, let it go. Brilliant. Yeah, that's all started because Tina said Frozen. So we started a sing along now, which is good. Brilliant. So, you know, if you've got any comments or thoughts, if you've got any questions, let us know you're getting value from it. Add your comments into the comment section. Let us know what you're looking to do. You know, ask any questions that you've got as well, and feel free to bring them in. So yeah, so that kind of explains. But before you made the decision to start working on yourself, you were quite reluctant or dismissive of personal self-development. Why was this?
I think mainly laziness was my biggest problem. The thought was always there about doing stuff to make myself better in every way, but the actual action of doing it, I didn't have that fire that you need to get going, to get started. Also, you know, life was busy and I was full of excuses as well, so needed to kind of get myself away from the excuses and actually take the action.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So Lizzie's just saying she's in the shop today, but she can listen while it's quiet, so that's good. Tina's just saying in the group that Paul started, great value. She's making new friends, building new circles, and working on different areas as well as helping others. So that's good to hear. So it's great to hear.
We've got another freeze. I'm sure he'll be back on. Oh,
I'm not sure what happened there. That's the second time it's dropped out, and doesn't usually do that. So let me just check. Our Wi-Fi is on. So
have you got phones that are on Wi-Fi?
No, we've checked all of those. All of those are off. So so if it does cut out, my apologies. We are still here. We will be back with us. Just bear with us. I think it's the weather today is obviously having an effect on technology, but it just goes to show you can still have a show even if the technology's causing problems.
I'll try and keep it
going. Let me just I'm just having a thought as well. I'm just checking just to make sure there's nothing additional open on my on mine that could be causing an issue. Okay, so
the other thing that made me reluctant, which I've just kind of thought about as well, I was in my comfort zone, which is the biggest thing, and obviously staying in your comfort zone, you're not going to get different results. I was doing the same things over and over again and kind of expecting something different, which was never going to happen. So comfort zone and laziness are definitely the reasons as to why I was so reluctant.
Yeah. But I think sometimes when you're stuck in a rut, isn't it, as well? Because you were quite stuck in a rut for a while and not knowing which direction you're going to head. I think sometimes that kind of adds to that, really, doesn't it?
It does. And unfortunately, the industry that I work in, the care industry, I love the job and I love the people I support, my colleagues. But with that job, you do get stuck in a rut and you do get stuck in the job if you stay in it too long, which is not a bad thing because it keeps carers being carers for longer. But ultimately it's not going to give me the fulfillment that I want from life.
Yeah. Becky's saying you're smashing it, Paul. Staying cool, love it. So and Lorraine is saying would love to hear a bit more about the group you started, Paul. So why don't we tell Lorraine wants to hear a little bit more about the group you started. So why don't we share a little bit more about tell Lorraine about the group a little bit more.
Okay, so start from the beginning, I suppose. So cut a long story short, I reached out to some people on the Comeback Challenge on the group on Facebook. As a result, I thought, let's have a community that we can set up so that everyone can stay connected. Set up the group, posted the link on there a few times. I posted the link on there a few too many times, I think, because I got told off for self-promoting, so I had to stop posting the link and kind of go with what I had, and that's where it all started. And it was just it's a support network that's there for people to gain support, to give support, to make new friends, make connections, offer valuable words and pearls of wisdom along the way. I get quite a lot of inspiration from the group and motivation from the group as well. So it keeps me on track. And I think it does that for a lot of people. I think a lot of people get that from it. Helps to keep people consistent and keep them going. And well, you know yourself, Rick, you're on it as well. So I think it offers a lot of value. And it's not just me going on there and posting and doing lives. It's other group members get involved and interact with the group as well. So
excellent. Yeah, and it's quite a positive group, and I think that's where I'm quite lucky, because we have with the charity, we have our Samee Den, which is for our business owners to network and talk about what they're looking to get support with, where they're all able to work together and we can support them in that way. And then, like you say, the group as well, having the support network, which is quite a positive group where people can just talk about what they're trying to do in a positive way, but not be necessarily bombarded with sales and stuff. It's a great community. So it's good to have these communities at these times supporting people. Gareth saying that it also provides training on various subjects, which is good as well. So yeah, so there's bits of training that have been going on during that time. So let's just talk about now you've kind of how has this journey helped you so far? So you know, what sort of things you've touched a little bit on it, but let's just touch a little bit more on how this journey's helped you so far.
In terms of how it's helped me, it's helped me to challenge myself. I've created 2 vision boards, and I've managed to tick off a couple of achievements from that. So I'm actually starting to achieve things. I'm getting a lot more fulfillment out of life, and life just feels so much better when you are developing yourself, because you're becoming better every single day. It's something I wish I'd started a long time ago, because as well as achieving stuff, I'm learning stuff along the way, and I'm helping other people achieve and learn things and gain value, and just generally smile and be more positive as well. So I think the biggest impact has definitely had on my positivity levels, and the amount I've learned stuff that I probably wouldn't have learned about had I not been doing the journey that I'm doing. So, and it's just installed a massive amount of confidence in myself and everyone around me that's part of my journey as well.
Brilliant. And Gareth has said that what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into self-development but feels a bit scared from Bev?
Well, you've got to take that leap of faith. The advice I would give is just to do it. Don't overthink it. Start off small. Maybe join a relevant group on Facebook or on social media. Maybe you could start by reading a book. Start by looking at YouTube videos. Was probably the way. That was for me. That was probably more the start of my journey. because I started watching Tony Robbins before the comeback challenge on YouTube. Again, thank you to you, Ricky, for that, for pointing me in that direction. So YouTube videos, read a book, join a group on Facebook, but ultimately just do it is the biggest thing.
Excellent. And just to put my disclaimer on there, you know, there are other mentors available on various social media channels.
But he is the best.
But yeah, he is a good one. You know, people like different ones, but it's good to see kind of how it's developed there. So how, now you've started on this journey, why do you feel it's important for everyone to focus on self-development?
Because, I mean, for me personally, it's more about how much I can help others, and I can't help others if I'm not in the best state myself. So I think it's important to learn and grow, because then you develop, and then along with the development comes success, and you also get fulfillment as well. Fulfillment is a massive thing. Life without fulfillment is, well, let's face it, it's miserable. If you don't feel that you are serving your purpose, or that you have a purpose, life tends to be a lot slower, a lot more downbeat. So I would say from probably the mindset point of view, it helps massively with things, just generally making you feel better and making you see life a lot better than what it is, and gratitude as well. You tend to be more grateful for things that are around you, and don't tend to focus on the stuff that you haven't got. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I think, yeah, that kind of covers that. And with the challenges, because you know, for those that don't know, obviously, you know, some of us know, but for those that don't know, we know that you said you've got 3 children. We know one of those has additional challenges with autism, as we're aware that, you know, I don't know if people have heard a name called a couple of times, but I've heard it shouted a couple of times, because he is at home at the moment for being challenging at school, shall we say. So I think, you know, really good kind of question about that is, with the challenges that you face with a child with autism, how has it helped and supported you with this?
What do you mean, the self-development, or?
Yeah, in terms of the self-development, how has it kind of changed things? How has it enabled you to work better, to look at maybe things in a different way? What sort of effects has it had on being able to manage that and work with that?
Well, the biggest effect again is down to positivity. So I'm a lot more able to handle challenging situations in more of a calm manner. You know, when you're stressed and you're tearing your hair out, it tends to be a lot more difficult to deal with any situation, no matter how big or small. So it's helped to deal with the bigger challenges. It's helped me to look at things from a different point of view, and to also maybe take into account the challenges that, as you heard the name Evan, is actually facing himself, which he faces a lot of challenges every single day. And I think sometimes as a parent, you tend to forget these things, and when you remember these things, it can help you to deal with the challenges more effectively. So I suppose it's helped me keep more focused, more positive, and more calm under pressure.
Excellent. Yeah. And Lorraine is asking from that as well, what ways do you think being a young carer has influenced your life?
Oh wow, that's a great question. It's helped massively. I mean, it's matured me very quickly from a very young age. I started when I was 18 in the care world, and instead of going down the usual route that most people that age would go down, I would, you know, instead of going out drinking every weekend and doing all that sort of stuff, yeah, I still did that stuff, but I suppose I was a lot more focused on on what I needed to do and being more aware that actually I needed to be a bit more focused the next day, so I couldn't go out drinking all the time. But I think it's also given me a great self-awareness of other people's needs as well. So mainly it kind of opened up my eyes and matured me and gave me some great life skills along the way. So the life skills definitely helped a massive amount, particularly preparing me for being a parent. I was kind of a little bit on the way there, having done the care work from the word go. So
excellent. And Becky is asking, what strengths do you have which help you on your personal development?
I think again, I've said this answer a couple of times, but the positivity is a big strength. Being as sociable as I am has definitely helped as well, because that gives you the ability to be able to communicate with people. So again, communication as well. Also the willingness to learn and to gain more knowledge, and being an active listener as well. We don't tend to realize actually how much we listen and how little we listen at times. And I think it's a good skill to have for self-development, actually just paying attention and focusing on what the other person is saying, to then listen and take it all in, the information, before you respond, sort of thing. So communication's the biggest skill, positivity, just general attitude as well.
Excellent. And I think when we think about our journeys and our future, and when you think about your future and your journey that you're taking now, how do you feel about that? And how is it different to how you felt before you started self-development?
Well, I feel like I've actually got some goals in my life, so I've got stuff to work towards. The journey now is very, very much different, because I'm on such an incredible journey now, and I've got incredible goals that before I wouldn't have even looked at and wouldn't have even thought of. I mean, I've got on my vision board, I've got a £60,000 motor car on there, and it's like, before I wouldn't have even thought about getting anywhere near that. So I suppose it's changed my perspective and made me want to achieve bigger and better goals, and to aim higher as well, and to have more self-belief. So before, it was a lazy journey, like I said, and was just plodding along, was happy to take every day as it came, which is not a bad way to be, but I think I wasn't getting that fulfillment that I'm getting now. So yeah, on the road to success.
Excellent. And just so people are aware, he is aware there's work involved with that motor car as well. So he's got the focus on it, but he is doing the work behind that to build that up. And you can do different things with what you're looking for and what you're looking for success, but it's definitely a journey that is taking a different shape. So it's quite interesting, actually. Becky has asked, what will your life look like when you get to where you want to be?
What will it look like? Wow. Fantastic is a word I like to use a lot. Awesome's another one. It'll just be so amazing, and I shall have achieved many goals. I shall be successful in what I want to do, and ultimately I'm going to feel fulfilled. So it's not going to matter if it changes along the way and I don't end up in a big house with a nice car, or I end up in a small house and a small car. I think either way it's going to end up with the fulfillment that I need. So that for me is the biggest thing. And yeah, just amazing and surrounded by lots of amazing people.
Sounds good. So Gareth is asking, do you have any tips for other parents of children with additional needs like autism?
Yeah, the biggest tip that I can give on that one is to accept the help around you. There are a lot of parents out there that don't tend to like going down the route of getting a diagnosis, because that gives them a label. and I've spoken to one recently, but it's actually, in actual fact, once you get that label, you get the help and the support that you need. The other thing as well is, if you're not being listened to, keep fighting, keep pushing, because it's so important to get that help in place, because that doesn't only make life better for you, but it makes it better for the children as well. So ultimately, just seek out all the help that you can, and keep fighting until you've got all the help that you need. Also, the biggest thing that I do, I communicate with my family members that are around my children to get them to follow suit and do things in the same way as me. Everyone has to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Otherwise, if you've got everyone doing things differently, that's confusing enough as it is. But when you've got a child with additional needs, it's even more confusing, and it's going to cause even more chaos, meltdowns, tantrums, whatever you want to call them. It's just going to make life a living misery if you don't get everyone on the same page.
Brilliant. And Michael's saying his dream car is only 45k. So
okay, well,
so
it's definitely achievable.
Excellent. So what top three tips would you give to anyone to help them when they're feeling stressed, anxious, or worried that have helped you?
Stop is the first one. Stop what you're doing, because if you carry on going the same way that you're going while you're stressed or anxious, you're not going to get anywhere apart from more stressed and more anxious. Take a step back. Actually, look at what's going on. Look at how you're dealing with things, and can you deal with it a bit better, or change it to make it easier to deal with. And the third one is, how important is the result that you're trying to achieve? Actually, how important is it? What will be the worst case scenario if you don't achieve that result? Is it going to be as bad as you think it is? So stop, take a step back, and actually look at the big picture.
Excellent. And Lorraine has said that was top tips accommodating autism. Nice one. So that was good. So knowing what you know now from your journey, if you were to travel back to the younger you starting out, what would you say, and what would be your best advice?
I'd start with stop being so lazy, and don't give up so easy. In my younger years, I tended to give up far too easy. If I got told I wasn't going to make the football team, I would quit the football team, rather than trying to prove people wrong. So yeah, just actually, pay attention, focus, and stop being so lazy, and just don't give up.
Wonderful, brilliant. I think that's kind of that's given some great advice there, and it's always interesting to hear that each week, to see what people say, and I think that's some stuff that definitely people are going to take away with them, and have a look. If anyone's got any other questions, or they want to add value, or want to share what they've taken from today, then brilliant, do add it in. But I think that's kind of covered everything, and I think thank you ever so much for coming and joining us, Paul. Any final thoughts that you want to add to the conversation today, or about dealing with autism, or anything that you want to share with the group?
Yeah, just be grateful, because generally when you look at things with gratitude, you actually see that life is a lot better than what you think it is. And then that brings on the positivity, and if you've got a roof over your head, be grateful for that, rather than that you're not in the house that you want. And yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, obviously if anyone wants to connect, obviously they can as well. Ricky's obviously got my details. You can connect with me on Facebook and whatnot. So yeah, just be happy, be grateful for what you've got around you.
Brilliant. And Gareth says, what are your next steps? What are you working on now?
Well, surprised Gareth asked that. He knows what I'm working on, but it's good for me to share it, I suppose. I'm what my next steps are to keep moving forward with the self-development, to keep trying to achieve my goals. What I'm currently working on is I'm also doing a NLP life coach course, neuro linguistic programming, and working my way to becoming a life coach. So hopefully, not hopefully, I will be a full-time professional life coach, and that's the journey that I'm going on. That's where I want to be. That's the end game.
Wonderful. And Lorraine has said gratitude is a wonderful thing. Fab interview, Paul. Thanks. So it's been great for everyone to join us today. I think that's kind of just about wrapped everything up that we were going to cover today around self-development, personal development, and some of the other things that we've touched on. It's been great to interview you. Thank you ever so much for joining us, Paul. And it's been a great session. Thank you everyone that's come on board and supported and asked questions. Gareth says, great interview, guys. Thanks very much. So they'll all start coming in with their thanks and everything now. Tina says, great show, boys. Great topics. So there's some bits and pieces coming on. So that's it for this week. We are back to our usual time next week, which will be Friday, lunchtime. So we will see you then, and we will have another guest for you next week. We've got some really, really interesting topics coming up, and we have a bit of a more famous face coming up in the next few weeks, hopefully. I'm just arranging that one, so that'll be a really, really good one. I'm really excited about that. So it's great to see you. Great to see everyone as usual. Speak to you next Friday. Thanks ever so much, and it's bye for now.